Okay guys, PD Tech here with a little overview of the first roll of film I shot on my Olympus MJU Zoom 105. It's the first roll of film I probably shot for like nearly 30 years. So it was this, so I'm quite new to this film game really. So it was this Kodak Gold 24 exposures and I paid £12 from Max Spielman, which I thought was a bit expensive really. I instantly got the photos developed there, and that was 13, so altogether it's like 25 quid really for 24 exposures, so it's not cheap by any means. So let's have a quick look at these photos. So you get a nice index card which just helps you get a good idea of what you've actually taken, which is quite helpful. And I got 25 exposures out of a 24 exposure film, so I was quite happy about that. They all came out okay. So I posted this one, I scanned the negative, but it didn't actually come out very well. So this was on my holiday in August in Skegness. It's a little traditional British seaside resort. And this day was pretty overcast really, pretty dull grey day, but it's come out, I think, slightly overexposed. I think there's not much cloud detail. It looks very bright on the ground, and there is some shadows, so there must have been some sunshine that day. I just don't remember it being that sort of bright. Maybe I focused up into the sky, maybe, or I'm sure that I focused on this area just to try and get a bit of contrast. But I've noticed I'm taking slightly to the right and down a little bit on every frame, so I've got to sort of compensate that when I'm looking through the viewfinder. There is some little index marks that sort of are meant to correct for the parallax, but I'm sure I was using those marks, but it doesn't seem to be correcting enough. So this should have been more to the left, I think. So apart from that being slightly overexposed, I thought that came out alright. The greens look really nice. Got the clock tower in there, the little statue thing. So this was a better day. This was like a really sunny day, so got some really good blue sky there. Again, this is slightly to the right again. I would say that point there should be the centre of the frame as I was taking the photo. So, and this is happening on every frame virtually. So I think that came out alright. The exposure is really good, the focus is good, colours are really nice. This is like the end of the pier, sort of. It's quite a colourful building. I wanted to get a bit of, a sense of how busy, the people walking around and the traffic and things. I was trying to get a bus actually. I got some good open top buses. A bus coming into the scene, that would have been quite good. I was waiting for a bus really, but that never happened. So I was quite pleased with that, apart from the framing's a little bit off. Again, this is a nice little church, and I'm pretty sure I got that in the frame dead centre, so it's sort of taken to the right and down a little bit, which is a bit odd. So I've got far too much. But as I was looking through the viewfinder, I'm sure I was struggling to fit this in the actual viewfinder, so it looks like a really cropped in image when you look in the viewfinder. It looks like you can't really fit much in. So I'm sure that it's not 100%. What you see through the viewfinder is probably not 100% of the image that you're taking. I'm sure of that. So I need to compensate more up and to the left. So every time I frame something, I've got to remember to frame it, so I go a little bit more to the left and slightly up as well. But again, that was nice. At least I know for next time, some good detail there. I like the colours, I got the sky really good. Quite happy with that. Now this coach, I remember, was really bright sort of neon orange. I love how the colours don't quite sort of come out exactly the same in film. They're like a bit more insipid and a bit sort of, the blues come out really good. I was really happy with that. Yeah, really happy with that. Again, it's to the right, framed it, but somehow it sort of worked a little bit. It's not too bad, but I probably took that centre frame, to be fair, and it's just to the right again. So I'll have to remember that for next time. But again, I'm quite happy with that. It's really good. This was a pretty good one. Again, it came out, the subject was probably centre frame, and it's come over to the left a little bit, but it's, to be fair, it's worked quite well. This is the sort of station view. As you'd come into Skegness on the train, you'd come from that direction there. So you pass this little statue with the suitcases and stuff. And it's usually quite a busy area where people sit, and there's people coming to and fro, you know, so it's quite a good area to get some nice shots. And there's some nice little statue things and street art there, and so it's quite a nice place. Again, the blues come out really vivid. I love the colours, and the greens are really, they don't look natural. It's not a natural green, but it's, I like the way they come out on the film. That's really good. This was totally came out wrong. I don't know why. I was meant to be taking a really arty shot of this sort of derelict building here and these signs and stuff, and I seem to remember I was sort of framed in at this sort of, you know, really close to the edge of that sign there, and I had a bit more of the shopping trolley. I was trying to get the shopping trolley in the foreground and then these signs, but it's more or less, the shopping trolley's almost off the edge of the frame, and I've got all this part of the building in, which isn't very interesting. So it came out a bit wrong, that, but at least I know for next time to sort of crop in a little bit more over to the left, so I'll know for next time. So it's just a learning process basically for me. And I was really pleased with the colours on this and the way, you know, all this came out. But again, it's off centre. It's to the left. This was central, and I was trying to get these either side of the frame. And I am in the middle here, you know, looking straight down here. So I should be central here, looking down, but it's gone way over to the right and down a little bit. So again, I'll have to remember that for next time. But the colours are excellent. Yeah, I like that. Lots of detail in this. It's picked up a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people walking up and down here. So there's the clock tower, and this is like the main road it goes towards the beach and the lifeboat station. So there's a lot happening down here. People buying ice creams, and there's lots of people walking around and stuff. And there's this really cool effect in the road. It's like almost like a tiled effect. It's really good. And then with the street lights, the arch street lights, and I was trying to get that in the centre. That would have been a brilliant photo, but I'll have a go at that one. I've taken some of these on my Samsung Pheno, so we can compare how they turned out with this Olympus MJU Zoom 105. I think that's probably my best photo out of all of them. I think I like the colours, I like the subject matter, this little vintage funfair, the Helter Skelter. The colours were really good. I wanted to get a bit of vegetation just on the edge of this frame, which I've got. I got the merry-go-round in there. It's framed quite well, actually, to be fair. The only thing wrong with this photo, that there would have been a vertical straight line. And I think because of the barrel distortion, you got to be careful with straight lines on the edges, because they are going to appear like that, coming at an angle, which is a bit odd, but never mind. But I like the colours. That came out really well, and it framed up to quite well, to be fair, so I was quite happy with that. This was a terrible framing job again. It's up into that left corner up there again, so it's going, when I frame it, this was in the centre, and I'm going to the right and way too far down. So that was completely in the frame. And when I was looking through the viewfinder, it looked like I was struggling to get that in. And again, I'm way off with that. So It's basically a learning curve for me anyway, this new camera as well. Although that was framed slightly off, this was centre on my viewfinder, and I was struggling to get that in the actual viewfinder, but I've got it all in there, and I'm slightly over this way, but it's actually worked. That it's not so bad. It's like a Japanese garden that's near the front. I'm quite happy with that. I like the bits of vegetation I've got in there, that little bush thing. So that's worked quite well, really. I felt this would look, it feels a bit overexposed, I don't know. It was a bright day. It's lost all the detail in the foreground, really. I should have gone a little bit closer in, maybe. The blues come out really good, the reds. It could have been better, that. I was probably aiming to get that in the centre of the frame, to be fair, but it's gone over slightly to the left, and there's a little building there where they sell ice creams and stuff, so it's worked quite well, not so bad. The framing's not too bad. This one came out okay as well. I was quite pleased with that. The P, I got it all in. And that's more or less what I was taking, looking through the viewfinder as well. Now I wasn't sure if I'd taken it. It was quite a noisy area here. There's a lot of people. I wasn't sure if I'd actually got the photo. But if you look, they're slightly different. This one's a little bit lighter, the sand, than that one. So the exposure's slightly different. Even though it was taken exactly the same time, I just pressed the shutter twice. I've got two basically different photos. Same subject matter and everything, taken exactly the same time, but the colours of the sand is slightly different. It's lighter on that one than on that one. But I'm quite happy with the detail. Lots of people on the pier, it's picked all that up. And the structure as well, the legs and stuff, that's quite good. I like that. And it framed up quite well, to be fair, as well, that one. That's meant to be centre frame again. Again, it's over to the left, up in that top corner. It's got some good cloud coverage in the sky there, that's okay. I like that. This is one of the beach I took. There's a video on my channel where I took a little video of Max, my dog, as well here. So you can see, I seem to remember the sky was a lot bluer than that. You can have a look at my video and see what the actual sky looked like. That's the pier in the background there. So I was trying to get like an arty shot of like a derelict. These are like they're called beach huts, aren't they? Like an old derelict building. Again, it's over to the left. It's off the frame there. It's not what I was framing up at all, but it's sort of semi-worked. I don't know. It's an interesting structure. Need to work on the framing. Excuse I think I'm trying the zoom out on this. Excuse the dodgy horizon. It's really off. But I was just testing the zoom out on the camera. I think I was zoomed right in on that one. So it's got some good detail on the waves there. And there's no, I've seen some little white marks in the corner of on these MJU zoom models, and I'm not getting that on this, so that's good. There's no light leaks in the barrel or anything. There seems to be quite a lot of I mean, that is a straight line, the horizon, so that's worked. It's not curved or no fisheye effect or anything. Again, the horizon's off, but please excuse that. It's just a test photo, really, just testing the zoom out. So all the photos I've taken were at its widest. I think it's 38 to 105. So every single shot except these two were zoomed in. Those two were zoomed in, and the other ones were all at its widest. Now that boat there was really yellow, I mean, really vivid yellow. It's completely different, sort of pale yellow. And the sky was really blue that day, I remember. That isn't the photo, that isn't the colours that I remember. I'm just thinking the sun was up in that corner, so perhaps if I'd been over here looking this way, I maybe would have got a different photo. Again, the subject matter's over to the left, and the framing's way off. I seem to remember I was struggling to get that in the viewfinder as well. It looked really tight either side, so definitely what you get in the photo is bigger than what you see through the viewfinder. That is a definite. Again, that's going off at an angle, that post there, that should be vertical. But that's something you get on these cameras, that's something you need to watch for. But I was quite pleased with that, really. Not too bad. This is one of the boats that services those wind turbines, those offshore wind turbines. There's like a big 4x4 tractor type thing that pulls it out. Yeah, so that was okay. Another beach one. The sun was up there, and it's just, I was trying to get the sun dappling on the waves and stuff, and again it was a test shot really, some good detail in the sand there. So apart from that being a little blown out sort of thing, yeah, it was too bright really. So as far as colours go and stuff, I like the colours, I like the detail, it's picked up all the detail. And we've got some of the dappling of the sunlight on the water, but it's just a little bit blown out there, and my framing's terrible on that. Apologies for that. So this was when I got home, and just a couple of shots where I was in the garden just using the film up. Just a little plant pot in the corner. So these colours are a tiny bit washed out to what they actually are. And there was a lot of sunlight on this, the sun was behind me. Again, it's over to the left slightly and down to the right. I've picked up a lot of the ground, look, I wasn't framing at all. So I'm going to have to remember that. Frame it and then go up and left slightly. No matter what I see in the viewfinder, get it right in the viewfinder and then go up and left. So that's something to watch out for. So that's my little garden, another garden shot there. That's come out a little bit better. I like the greens, how it reproduces the greens. It's done well with that shadow, how it's still a lot of detail in that shadow really, to be fair. Because this would have been really bright, and then it's picked out the detail in the shadow really well, to be fair. I love these greens though, it's nothing like the actual colour, but it's incredible, and that pink's different as well. It's hard to explain what happens to the greens, but yeah, so this is Kodak Gold. And I took some of the same shots in my Samsung Pheno while I was over in Skeggy. I had both cameras with me, and the difference in that will be interesting because I was using Kodak Color Plus in that, so that'll be interesting. I'll do a comparison. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that little video of my first film in my Olympus MJU Zoom 105. First film I've shot in probably for 30 years since I got my first digital camera. So hopefully there'll be some more. I've got some black and white HP5 that I'm going to load in either my Canon Rebel G or perhaps in this. So this is actually for sale, this is what I'm selling, and this was just a test roll to make sure that this camera works okay, so whoever buys this now can see, you know, the kind of photos it's going to produce. So basically quite happy with that, apart from the framing that was a little bit out, which is, you know, my fault, and obviously with the next roll of film I'll bear that in mind. So that gives you some good insight into what this camera can do. Really basically very pleased with that. It was Kodak Gold 200, by the way. So, okay guys, hope you enjoyed that little video. Take care. Bye bye for now.